Dave Simon and his co-hosts are completing the remaining finishing touches for tonight's episode. If you are watching the replay, you can skip to the 4-minute and 54-second mark to get to Dave's intro. While you are waiting, watching live, take a look at the news and articles about pro wrestling and MMA from The Authority, the Ringside Report Network. Our website is at ringsidereport.net. That's ringsidereport.net.
Please wait. Hold on. Keep waiting. Almost done. 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 Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Please wait. Hold on. Keep waiting. Almost done. 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 Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment.
Welcome to today's broadcast from the Ringside Report Network. We are a viewer and listener-supported creative team. We would really appreciate it if you became a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. While you are waiting, watching live, take a look at the news and articles about pro wrestling and MMA, and while there, check out our exclusive merch, including great jiu-jitsu gear from the Ringside Report Network. Our website is at ringsidereport.net. It's ringsidereport.net.
Subscriber is speaking at the moment.
Yes, indeed. We are watching SmackDown. We're talking all things WWE. We're 2 weeks out from WrestleMania, and we're a couple days away from AEW Dynasty. We'll preview that in full for you here on Wrestling Uncensored. Yes, indeed. Yes, where's Johnny? Give me Johnny. There he is. I feel more comfortable with Johnny. How's it all going?
Well, it's been a busy last few days, Dave. Yourself?
Good. Doing well.
All right. Well, I had a big wrestling tournament last week. It's nice that you guys put the promo up that I did for that, for Mad Dog Wrestling. Went all the way to the finals. Sadly, did not defeat Jeremy Prophet to win the Mad Dog Heavyweight Championship, but I gave it my best. And then I was in a gender reveal match, which I know you were very excited about when I told you about this. So that was quite an interesting event to do. Quite interesting to do considering I got home like at 4 a.m. the day before, and then I have to do that match at 1 p.m. the next day. So that was a little rough in terms of fatigue and all that, but when you like wrestling, it's fine. You just sore afterwards and hibernate afterwards, but fun weekend. And I was just devastated by news that I just saw recently on social media. I don't know if you remember Savage Paulson, a guy I wrestled, one of the best matches I ever had, actually, him in a strap match at Torch Chamber Pandemonium.
Yeah.
He's announced his retirement from wrestling. He's no longer going to wrestle anymore.
Oh.
After 9 years, he's hanging him up. And I just want to say congrats on, I thought it was a great career. And one of my favorite opponents of all time.
There you go. He was a lot of fun to watch. Great career for him. Congrats to him. I need to know though about the gender reveal match, Johnny.
I'm sure you do.
You were wrestling another man, right? I'm guessing.
I wrestled another man. That is correct.
Okay, so who was girl man and who was boy?
Well, believe it or not, the match is on YouTube. You can see the whole match on YouTube. But
can you just tell me?
Sure, of course. I wrestled in blue, so I represented the boy.
Okay.
Being a guy. I put over guys quite a bit and how guys are better than women. You cut
a heel pro-man promo.
Possibly. I may have said something about women that maybe his mom wouldn't like too much.
Oh
but
my
I said
God.
a lot of
Why
things.
are you doing this at a nice gender reveal party, John? That's not appropriate. You're not getting booked for one of those again, brother.
Oh, no. It was great. And it was great, too, was the father wore a John Cena t-shirt. And you know how much I don't like John Cena, and I definitely got in his face about it. So that was a lot of... I enjoyed myself quite a bit. I know you're quite upset about this. And
so you were a heel.
I had a blast.
So I guess you lost?
Had a blast. Well, it depended on
it's
who
a girl?
It was. It was a girl in the end, sadly.
Yeah, so you lost.
Sadly. But only because of that. Only because of that, though. Like, I was going to act the exact same way regardless. But it was funny, too, because the mother came up to me afterwards and saying that she was quite glad that I lost. And I'm like, I was quite glad that that you're happy, but I feel kind of bad that I lost, though. I really wish I won. And it should have been Jazz instead of Jasmine, but apparently it's Jasmine, so... It is what it is. You can't control that, sadly.
It happens, John.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lose. Okay, John? Sometimes you lose. But
it was out of my hands.
Yeah, well, it's those types of things are never in anybody's hands. They just kind of happen, right? Whether you get a boy or a girl, you never know. Luck of the draw.
You would know, right? 50-50, right?
Yeah. I had a boy, and then when I had a girl, I was surprised. I was like, really? It's a girl? Wow. That's crazy. Pretty good. She'll be 3 in a couple days. How about that?
Wow, congrats. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn right I took an L for the guys, DJ. Damn right.
Yeah, Johnny's always taking L's for his guys. Shout out DJ Bourne in the chat, Franco316, Angelo Contagonis, members of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. What's up, guys? Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. We're here every Friday night talking professional wrestling. I want to talk about John Cena and Cody Rhodes and their promo on Raw. We're watching SmackDown right now. The bad news I thought you were talking about was Kevin Owens, who we just saw cut a promo on SmackDown announcing he's got to leave WWE for neck surgery, and it seems legit. This is not an angle. He's actually hurt, and it seems like, he doesn't know when he'll be back. He's going to be gone for an extended period of time, and who knows if you ever come back after a serious neck injury. So that was pretty sad to see. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton now not happening at WrestleMania. Randy Orton RKO'd Nick Aldis for some reason, but I think the bigger story, rather than, who's going to wrestle Randy at Mania, I think whatever, but Kevin's neck injury and now neck surgery, that's too bad. Wish him a speedy recovery, right? You've wrestled him before, too.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin helped train me, so if you can always put the praise and the blame on how good or how bad I am on Kevin Steen or Kevin Owens, so I always
it's his
tell
fault.
that to people a lot too. It's his fault, or that's why I'm that good, or you could take it both ways in a sense.
I don't know.
The guy I wrestled, Mustafa Jordan, that's what I told him. So,
well, you lost you didn't win the tournament. You didn't win the championship. I know that because I saw Jeremy Prophet win the championship because I saw him posting pictures. So he won. I know you didn't win that. And then you didn't win the gender reveal thing. Team Boy lost, John. So I don't know. I think we do need to blame Kevin Owens because you seem to be losing a lot in the ring. So not so good of a wrestler.
I just want to state it was a tournament.
That you lost.
That was all right, but I had to go all the way to the finals, so I didn't lose everything.
Okay, you went to the finals and lost to Jeremy. Big surprise.
It was a grueling tournament, which I had a buy-in, by the way, in the first round because I was already the number one contender. And I argued the fact that I didn't need to go to the final. I should be in the finals already. I don't need to go to the second round. But the commissioner, unfortunately, said that I had to do the second round. And then he got the fans that chant like Buttercup at me. I don't like that movie too much. Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
You don't remember that Andre the Giant movie?
No.
Yeah, anyways, it's something with that. Anyways, doesn't matter. Either way, I had to do that and people yelling at me. But it's okay because, my faction is growing now. I got a new member. Carl Nicholson's in my group now, so that's fantastic. I mean, yeah, Jeremy Prophet won that night, but doesn't mean he's going to win the next time because now I got more friends on my side. So eventually, Jeremy Prophet's going to fall. Mad Dog Pro Wrestling. Eventually, I will become Mad Dog Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, or one of my members will. Doesn't matter. Jeremy's going to lose one day. Don't worry about it, Dave.
I don't know. I've seen you wrestle Jeremy a lot of times, John. And I know how that story goes. I've never seen you.
I don't always lose, all right? I don't
pretty much always lose.
Okay, but it happens. That 1 out of 10, it happens sometimes, all right? And I got hired goons now.
It's not 1 out of 10, John. It's more like 1 out of 50.
Might be fairer in terms of the percentages.
Yeah.
Sure. But again, I got hired goons. So eventually someone's going to get them.
You hope.
It's going to happen.
You hope.
No, it's going to happen one day.
Your goons better do
gender
the trick.
reveal, Mustafa Jordan got the better of me. But again, I can't control that. Like we just said, it was a girl. That's unfortunate. It's too bad.
So says you. So yeah, Kevin Owens gone for a little while. Yeah, disappointing. Not kind of surprising considering his style, but he just seems so tough over so many years, taking everything. He seemed like invincible in a way. So it's sad to see him just kind of come out and have neck surgery. I hope he can recover from this and continue to have a great career.
I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Kevin's been hurt way before he went to WWE. Like, he had 2 knee braces on his knees. Like, his knees were already shot before he even made it. So he's been battling through injuries like almost since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And now you just add something else as well. Like, I'm kind of not surprised, sadly, because again, he's been doing this ever since he was like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
So it's
40 now.
It's a huge grind on your body. And again, you keep having to up your game. And look at the recent matches that he's had. That ladder match with Cody. And then another crazy match that he had with Sami Zayn. Like, it never stops.
Yep.
Like, I'm amazed, like, he got this far without having to get, like, a major neck surgery. As sad as that is, just look at the matches that he's had and the fact that he's actually escaped with not major surgeries in the past. Like, sadly, it catches up to you, and it finally caught up to him, sadly.
And not just in WWE, right? I mean, outside of WWE for years, he was having matches that I think a lot of people would consider more dangerous, more grueling, more high impact, right? And he was doing that for a very long time. It's not like his style got crazier in WWE. It was way more intense outside of WWE, and you got to figure that the years of punishment there may have played a factor in everything going on right now. So he's had, like you said, maybe 25 years of pro wrestling.
And the thing is, too, it's not just like the matches. Like, I remember in training, he got injured because he pushed himself so damn hard.
Yeah.
Like, he's beat him up. He's beaten his body up so much over the years, all that wear and tear. Like, again, it's amazing that he's had the career that he's had, given how he's had to fight through those injuries that he's had in the past. And I hope it's not the end for him. Like, I really don't. Like, it would be sad if it ends here, but that doesn't mean that he had a bad career in the end. He still had a great career. I just hope it's not the end, because it just kind of feels abrupt. And I hope he gets to end it the way he kind of wants to.
As for Randy, is there a way to maybe get Sammy to be his opponent? Because I haven't seen Sammy since that chamber match, and he's got nothing going for WrestleMania. You could kind of find a reason or a way to do that, because leaving Randy off Mania is a little disappointing. People want to see Randy Orton. He's a big star. If he's available, you want to have him on the show.
I mean, that's an idea. The only problem with that is it's face versus face. I don't feel there's a lot of heat there. Not a lot of good reason to have that match. I think they were trying to get something with Nick Aldis right there by him giving an RKO to Nick Aldis. Like, maybe we could do something there with that, because that's not the first time I think he's given the RKO to Nick Aldis as well. So they've kind of had a bit of history with that. They could work something with that. I also feel just take someone else, like someone like a Karrion Kross. Like, it's not the greatest match in the world. It doesn't need to be the greatest match in the world. But 5 minutes, you're in and out, RKO. That's all the people want to see, really.
Possibly. Randy and Nick Aldis would be weird. I don't know. I mean, he's not wrestling in WWE.
But he could. He's still in great shape, Nick Aldis. I remember when I met him, was it a year ago now, I guess? He was in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
So, like, he could definitely, still work. I wouldn't be, and it's believable, too, like the way he looks. You could give Randy a run for his money. It won't be that close, but he could. But, I mean, you look at who they have to work with. I mean, unless you're bringing back, like, a random person from the past that it could be like, wow, which I don't know if they have too many of that right now. You got slim pickings right now in terms of the roster.
I agree. I don't know what you could do with Randy. There's not many options because everybody's already kind of set in motion. It's so close to WrestleMania. We're 2 weeks out. It's 2 weeks, Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu are wrestling right now on SmackDown. Braun just smashed through the barricade with Jacob. It's a last man standing match where the winner gets a U.S. title shot. Is it at Mania or just gets a U.S. title shot?
They implied at Mania, but I don't know if we're going to get a winner here. I don't know about you. I feel like we're going to get a double count out on both guys. So, because we talked about this last week. I think it's going to be a 4-way. So, and we had the whole thing with Solo kind of interrupting Braun backstage. I think LA Knight got involved. That led to the match with Tama, I think, right?
Yeah.
So, that was a big suplex right there. They've had some really cool spots in this match.
Yeah. This has been a decent match between Braun and Jacob.
I'm taking double count out though here. I don't think we're going to get a winner. This is the thing too. Like this trek to Mania, it seems kind of long. So I don't think everything's going to be set in stone yet.
They need to start making some of these matches. They made one tonight. Naomi and Jade Cargill is official for WrestleMania. Naomi went out to have a match with B-Fab, and Jade attacked her before the match. Naomi still had the match, still won the match, called out Cargill after the match. Jade came out, kicked Naomi, and then security came out. Naomi escaped, and Jade beat up on the security. So then Nick Aldis came out and said, hey, WrestleMania, let's do the match. So that is official. They made that official. That's the big news of SmackDown, I guess, so far. CM Punk opened the show with a promo talking about how much he loves Chicago. Did you notice CM Punk says, they told me the best overseas fans are overseas.
Yeah, I caught that. Because he was trying to hold the camera, so he kind of messed up what he was talking when he was trying to get the camera at the same time.
Yeah, he was holding the camera to show his people in Chicago because he was trying to say that the Chicago fans were the best. So he said, they tell me the best overseas fans of overseas, but the Chicago people don't believe that. I would believe it, though. I think the best overseas fans are overseas. John, what do you think?
I think we've talked about this for the last couple of years where we kind of debated it. I would say it's an argument, a good argument, but I feel over the last couple of years they've kind of actually taken it. So
John,
I don't think it is.
Stop. You didn't hear my question properly. Because I'm quoting what CM Punk said. He said the best overseas fans are overseas, but we don't believe that. The overseas fans have to be overseas. Of course the best overseas fans are overseas. They're overseas. What he meant to say was, they tell me the best fans are the overseas fans, but that's not what he said. He says, they tell me the best overseas fans are overseas, but we don't believe that here in Chicago. And it's like, well, you should. Anyways.
Sorry to interrupt you. Jacob Fatu has won the match. He is now the number one contender. I guess it's going to be him and LA Knight at WrestleMania.
Wait, already?
Already.
Am I behind? I guess I was behind a little bit.
You put him through a table. Kind of like a weird side elbow back kind of thing that he gave him.
I got them on top of a thing. Oh, and they both...
Oh, no. That's not the end.
Suplex. They got up after the suplex. Why am I so far behind? I must have paused it. What is this finish?
You'll see Braun's bleeding a little bit from the arm.
Oh, I see.
I imagine it's legit.
He put him through a table with something. The table was leaning up in the corner. Big bronze. He's limping around. And there was a table leaning up in the corner, and he, elbowed him?
That's pretty much what happened.
Okay. So Jacob Fatu gets the title shot. We got to finish.
Are we going to get that now at Mania?
No idea.
I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. I wouldn't mind if it's just one-on-one. We don't need too many multi-man matches, so wait and see, though. Now we're getting some...
Yeah, Jacob just kind of speared him through a table with his elbow. Kind of ran him like a running elbow.
I think it was supposed to be, that butt attack in the corner. I think it was supposed to be that, but Braun wasn't properly placed, so it ended up being the way it came out. Yeah, it was weird, but we've had a couple of weird finishes tonight, so not everything turns out the way you want it, and that's what happens in wrestling.
Ray Phoenix made his SmackDown debut beating Nathan Frazier Crane. Phoenix cut a promo afterwards that was nonsense. Nice moment for him.
That's what it was. I mean, he's not a promo guy, and they shouldn't have done that, but I get why they did that. Because they, want to have a feel-good moment.
He said...
The worst...
He said...
I know what you're going to say right now. I know
this is not the debut of Ray Phoenix. This is the reverse of Ray Phoenix. And I was like, this is the reverse of Ray Phoenix. And then he goes, and I am rich with animals. And I'm like, you're rich with animals? Well, what did he mean when he said he's rich with animals? And then he says that Ray Phoenix is the WWE animal. And I was like, what? You're the WWE animal? And you're rich with animals. And this is the reverse of Ray Phoenix. I think he was trying to say rebirth, but it really sounded like reverse. But then when he said he was rich with animals, he totally lost me. I was like, I don't know what he was trying to say there. That was just rich with animals. What the hell does that mean? Is that what did you hear that too?
Yeah. I heard the whole reverse.
Okay,
I heard
you
that,
also heard that he said he was rich with animals, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I heard that.
What the fuck was that?
But
we should be laughing. English is not his rich with language. Animals. But what is he trying to say? Like when he says this is the reverse of Ray Phoenix, you go, I think he's trying to say rebirth, but when he says he's rich with animals, and when he says he's and then he repeats the word animal when he says he is the WWE animal, you go, what? And that was the punchline of the promo. Ray Phoenix is the WWE animal. And you're like, what? It was nuts.
I think he's really trying to put over, because he's Phoenix, right? So he's really trying to push that over, I guess. So I think he was trying to put over the whole, rebirth, and now he's going to glow in this fire. But it didn't come out that way clearly, because again, English not his first language. There's a reason why he had a manager doing his talking, so you could understand what he was trying to get out. Don't give him a mic, but I get why they give him a mic, because he's had a history in Chicago that they can never talk about, but apparently everyone knows him in Chicago, so give him that mic and people will respond and give him that moment, because people have been waiting for this.
Yeah,
and it was nice.
Yeah,
but you're also hurting him at the same time by doing this. Yeah. It was emotional, but you're also hurting him and kind of hurts himself by doing this, because it's kind of ridiculous. And that's it. I don't want to laugh at him, but he put himself in a bad spot by doing that.
Should you really laugh at a man who's rich with animals? You don't even know what that means. I mean, he must have a zoo.
There's been a couple of moments this week. Again, it's been a fun week in WWE, but for the wrong reasons, I think. How about that match, though? Can we talk about the match that happened, too?
Yeah. Not great.
I thought the match was fine, but I had a bit of an issue with the fact that the finish should have been that pile driver that he did, that fusion driver, I think, that he hits. That was his finisher in AEW,
and
that's a pile driver pretty much. How is that not a finish? But he does the muscle buster, twisting. He calls it a Mexican muscle buster, and that's the finish. That doesn't look as impressive as drilling him on his head, like a tombstone practically.
Yeah.
How is that not the finish?
I don't know. Because the other moves his finisher is trying to get over? I don't know, man. You're not wrong.
And you're going to tell me Mr. 182 pounds, which I doubt highly about that, is going to do muscle busters to everybody? I doubt that too, by the way.
Yeah, he needs to do a flippy finish. That'll help. They're just going to keep him and his brother separate? When are they going to team them up?
You're going to have to wait for the draft, I think. Let them have their own little runs, because I guess Penta, he's probably going to have that 4-way U.S. title thing, right? That's kind of continuing on Raw, so let them do that on SmackDown. Phoenix is going to do this. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird that they had to bring in someone from NXT to work with Phoenix instead of a guy that they already have on the roster. So that makes me a little bit worried that they don't have a lot of guys that can work his style.
We'll see what they do with him. I thought it was an okay debut, but it wasn't. It wasn't as good as his brothers.
Well, because I feel Penta works more of the gimmick, right?
Yeah,
and he works more of the crowd, and like I think Phoenix is more flashy in what he does, and he kind of showed it. But the pacing is like completely all over the place, and that's not all on Phoenix too. That was a bit on Frazier as well. Frazier felt like he was kind of, 1 second he's up, second he's down. Like the selling is not there. I think they kind of screwed up on their dive a little bit too. I'm not mistaken. It looked like there was a little bit of a hiccup there, and then there's a kick that was just completely missed. But besides that, I think they're just going way too fast. Like I think Penta takes his time with stuff, and Phoenix is very good. And, like he's flashy, but just way too fast.
Yeah, and in WWE it doesn't work as well as in AEW. The style's different.
They let things breathe. Yeah, they let things breathe a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. We're seeing a promo package of the Cena-Cody promo from this week, and I think that this one was their best one on Raw this week. Finally, we got somewhere with this.
Yeah, we had some action. That was good. Like, in terms of how good the promo was, I thought it was all right. I mean, it was better than the last two, like you said. I think there's a bunch of, like, snowballs they threw at each other. It wasn't anything spectacular. Like, to me, the whole "you can't wrestle," I mean, the big thing was they chanted "boring" at you when you were like the biggest thing in the world. That's what he should have thrown at him, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He just threw a snowball at him. No grenades.
I don't think Cody hit as hard as Cena did. Cena hit Cody with some big ones.
Right.
Cena nailed him. I mean, Cena making fun of Cody, for walking around in suits and just pretending to be somebody he's not, and tattooing the gimmick on his neck. Says he's a Nepo baby. Cena said that Cody is just boring and kind of flat, and he's ashamed that he's the champion now. And Cena also said that he made empires for billionaires while Cody just stole money from their kids, which was a pretty good line.
At first, I thought he meant Stephanie, but then I saw off the internet it wasn't. He meant Stephanie. He meant
Tony Khan.
Tony Khan.
Yeah, which was a pretty good line. Cody telling Cena that, well, you say I was chosen by the fans. You were chosen by a guy in an office who's not here anymore. And the fans go, ooh, he's talking about Vince. It's like, are we forgetting that when Cody was signed and brought back to the WWE, Vince went personally to Cody's home, which was like totally out of the ordinary, and talked to him and convinced him and had this grand plan for Cody and chose him and really went out of his way to bring Cody back to the WWE. And they made a huge deal of it at the time, and Cody was all honored that Vince came to his house. Like, he never does that. You have to go to Vince. He never comes to you. And then Cody's like, oh, well, Vince chose you. It's like, he chose you too, dude. What are we talking about here? Are you acting like you're the great post-Vince champion that Vince doesn't have his fingerprints on? It's absurd. When he said that, I was like, wait a second. Vince flew to your house. You had this man in your home. Don't act like he's this devil that you've always hated. You were honored that this guy showed up. You kept telling everybody how he came to your house. That makes you important. He was bragging about it. Vince came to me and doesn't come to you. Doesn't do that for everybody. Ha ha ha. It's like, okay. But now that it's not convenient to have that relationship with Vince, you're like, oh, Cena, you. By the way, Cena has been seen with Vince post-allegations, which is interesting. Cody's not going to hit him with that, though, is he? Cena could fire back and go, hey, Vince flew to your house, dude. And then Cody could be like, you're still hanging out with him, man.
Well, this is again like this. He threw snowballs at him, but he didn't throw the grenades. There was possibilities right there, like talking about The Rock, and then like, oh, you sold it to The Rock. No follow up on that. He mentions The Rock, but no follow up whatsoever about it. That like you said, I think was it last week, the week before, saying that they should do the whole like Hollywood versus WWE angle, but they're not doing that because they don't want to make pretty much all the people up top in WWE the bad guys again, which I kind of get. I understand they don't want to make Netflix the evil kind of thing that possibly they are. So I understand them doing that, but there's no heat as much because I think people still believe in Cena as much as they're trying to force feed this on us. And plus, by doing that promo, you kind of made like Cody wasn't or isn't the bad guy or the good guy you think he is really. Like Cena is more the good guy. He kind of justified himself a lot in this promo. So it was kind of off in a lot of ways, I thought.
Yeah. It made Cena look way cooler than it made Cody look, I think, for sure.
Well, Cody, the stupid line about you have more dick in your promo than your jorts. Like, I get what he's trying to say, but
I didn't.
It just okay. Well, just saying that, like it sounds like he talks big, but he doesn't have. See, that's it, right? You have to kind of take it in like that. Like it doesn't.
Like, what?
The way it's said, it doesn't come off very well. It's very awkward the way he came out with that. So, like, I get the idea, but sometimes just make it simpler than just trying to be cute and creative with your wording.
I liked when Cody was talking about how Cena left the WWE worse off than when he came in, how he didn't really bring it to new heights. But then it's like, well, that's not really true. He did kind of bring it over. I mean, he didn't change the game in a lot of ways. He just kind of was a placeholder for a while for the WWE, just kind of the spokesman for the company. But he did, hold the keys while the WWE did big business. But Cody did Cena kind of created the lane for him to leave and create another company because there was like that hunger in the market, which is true. Like people were kind of tired of the same old WWE thing and they wanted something different, and AEW was born. There was that. But then Cena going, whatever garbage they give me, I always find a way to make it work. You had to leave. That was pretty good. It was a good promo.
Cody could have came back. I think it was entertaining. It was definitely entertaining. I expected more from Cody, but I think it kind of goes to show to you a little bit that Cena is very good at this. And like people kind of expect that to happen, and Cena does deliver in these kind of promos. He's shown in the past, and I think he did it again.
And now we are witnessing the tribal chief enter the arena, John. Roman Reigns has finally arrived because we opened SmackDown with CM Punk talking.
They're in Chicago.
And then Paul... Sorry?
They're in Chicago, by the way.
Yes, they're in Chicago. And Paul Heyman shows up and puts Punk over and then asks Punk, what is the favor that I still owe you? Because Roman is on his way and he's very mad. And Punk says, well, Roman will have to wait until he gets here, and I'll tell him when I tell you what the favor is. So now Roman is finally here in the ring with Paul Heyman. It's the end of SmackDown. And we are about to acknowledge Roman. And Punk will come out at some point and I guess reveal the favor. Is Seth Rollins going to come out here, or is this just a Roman Punk thing tonight?
Now, Paul Heyman has already said yes to whatever the favor is.
Has he? But he doesn't know what it is. He just has to do whatever Punk asks of him no matter what because he helped Roman at Survivor Series?
That's pretty much. He's already agreed to this
with no
So
limits on what the favor could possibly be. Like, there's a lot of, it's like, who's going to agree to that? You can ask me to do anything. Anything? Rob a bank, Paul Heyman. Like, what? Murder Roman Reigns in his sleep. He trusts you. Like, what? You know what I mean? What is the limit to this favor? Does Paul Heyman have a limit? Punk has a favor that he's going to cash in on Paul Heyman, but Heyman himself is unaware of what this favor may be. I thought Heyman knew what the favor was going to be, but apparently now he doesn't know, and Punk has to reveal it to him and the world. So Punk will then reveal the favor, and Heyman will act like he is shocked and he cannot imagine fulfilling this request of CM Punk. And that's how we will end the show, with this stupid favor gimmick that we're doing.
At least this is going to drag to WrestleMania. I think it's better we're getting this done on one show. And I think the favor, it hasn't been revealed yet, but I think it's going to be that Heyman has to be in Punk's corner at WrestleMania.
I think CM Punk wants what a lot of people want, one night alone with Roman Reigns, brother. Sexy man. A lot of people are into him. What?
I thought you were going to say Paul Heyman. I'm like, oof.
No, Roman, man. He's the heartthrob of the WWE. That's what Punk wants, brother. It's a sexual favor. Why not?
I think they're both married, though, so it'd be rough. And then AJ would get mad. And he mentioned AJ.
I think CM Punk has a hall pass for Roman Reigns, brother, if you could ever get there. It's after WrestleMania. They're all sweaty. They're hanging out.
It's WWE. I'm sure they've done a lot of crazy things. I mean, you've seen the videos.
They're on the road, brother.
So. It's Vegas, right?
Hey, what happens in Vegas? Oh,
that's
God.
A dark path. But
it's just like all this favor stuff. It's so dumb, man. Can we just get it over with? Roman is like talking in the ring now, saying like, the only reason Punk is here is because of me. The only reason he's in the main event is because of me. This is my ring. This is my city. Let's bring out CM Punk so we can quit wasting our time. And he wants to know what the favor is. Acknowledge the tribal chief.
They're saying we're wasting time here. I'm glad they're admitting that that's pretty much what a lot of SmackDown is a lot of time wasting.
Roman literally said, "Let's get CM Punk out here so we can he can quit wasting our time." Just filling time on SmackDown. It's a 3-hour show. Roman's literally looking at his watch, waiting for Punk to come out. He's like, "What's taking so long?" Here he comes. Finally.
Well, look, I like CM Punk promos.
Oh no, it's not Punk. It's Seth Rollins.
Oh no, this is gonna take forever.
Well, no, the show's only got like 10 minutes left, man. There's only so long it can take. It's on USA Network. They got to get off TV.
They might get a little bit of an overrun. Wait and see. Like, I like CM Punk, and I usually think his promos are the best part of the show, but that opening promo, not his best work.
You forget last week in the contract signing, man, they got no overrun there. They needed it. Remember they cut out so abruptly?
Yeah, they really had like nothing left.
There's no overrun.
That was rough.
I don't think they get overrun on this. It's like 11 o'clock. Boom, done. Hard out.
They're definitely gonna stretch this because if Seth's only coming out now, and you said what, we got less than 10 minutes left.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
It's gonna be rough.
Wow.
Punk needs to like run to the ring almost. I think. Oh, now he's doing the strutting and
they're singing because they do that. They love it.
Supposed to be Punk's hometown. They're not supposed to be singing. I don't understand that. It's kind of weird, but okay.
While we wait for Seth and the crowd to stop singing, LA Knight beat Tommy Tonga via pinfall tonight after the BFT. LA Knight's going to wrestle Jacob Fatu at some point, so there's that.
It was a match that happened. There's been a lot of matches that feels like it just happened tonight.
Motor City Machine Guns beat DIY to become number 1 contenders for the tag team titles.
But they definitely didn't say WrestleMania, so that's an issue that will be resolved, I think, before. And again, I think we're getting a multi-tag at WrestleMania more than likely, because we had Pretty Deadly involved as well. They did a backstage segment. I guess they're wrestling next week, right?
Against Miz and Carmelo Hayes.
See them win that match.
Yeah. I could see a 4-way still. Pretty Deadly, the Machine Guns, DIY, and Street Profits for the tag titles. I hope they don't include Miz and Carmelo in like a 5-way, but I could see it happening.
Was it not a 5-way ladder match last year? I feel like it was. And I think the Miz was involved last year too.
So maybe that's what they're doing.
Could happen.
Okay. And Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre cut a couple promos on each other. Why does Drew McIntyre have an eye patch? Is he a pirate now?
Because remember when he got slammed through the windshield? Like I said, glass got up there.
Oh.
And now they're saying glass got in his eye.
Oh, okay. That's from that. I see.
Yeah.
Also, after Rey Fenix wrestled, they cut to Santos Escobar and Los Garzas, who were just like upset about Rey Fenix. Are they mad that he's Mexican and they're Mexican too? Like, why are they mad about him for no reason?
Well, I think they're mad because Escobar was like, "Oh, this guy's amazing! Like, he's so good." And then Angel and Berto were like, "Ah, he's a flash in the pan. Like, who cares about him?" And then Escobar's like, "Fine, I'll make a match next week."
And
it's what's going to happen.
Yeah. They had to do that, right?
Well, I mean, why not? Just again, we're filling up time here.
Those poor guys. Yeah. Seth Rollins coming out now, talking to Roman, saying that he's going to win the match at WrestleMania. He's going to finish it at Mania. I think Seth should win at WrestleMania. I think he needs it more than Punk or Roman. I think Roman winning is like whatever. Roman losing, it's like, oh, he's lost twice in a row at WrestleMania. Can he be champion again? Can he climb back as the tribal chief? Can he be the top guy once again? Punk winning, I think, is unnecessary. But Seth winning, I think he kind of needs. He lost to Punk on the Netflix premiere, clean. And then when he beat Punk in the cage, it was only because Roman dragged Seth out of the cage and just started attacking him. And that caused the finish of the match for Seth to win, but it wasn't like a great win for Seth. I think they want to keep Seth as one of their top guys. And I think in order to do that, you need to make him a little stronger by having him win the triple threat at Mania. I think Seth should win. I think he will win.
I see your argument, and I think you definitely could be right. I'm going with Roman because, again, he lost last year, so they're kind of trying to rebuild him up again. And I think he's going to pin Punk, actually. I don't think he'll pin Seth. So Seth won't win, but he won't lose.
It's never a bad bet to bet on Roman. I don't think Punk wins, though. I think Punk has already won by being in the match.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely taking the pin, no matter who it is.
Seth cut his little promo. Roman was tired of it. He's like, I didn't call you out. I called out Punk. And now Seth is like, all right, let's get Punk out here. And now here comes Punk. Took long enough.
Another entrance.
Yeah.
How much time? 5 minutes left?
Yeah.
Well, at least you got a little bit of time to talk. So that's good. I mean, I'd rather they end it with a talking segment than a wrestling segment because I can't think of a match that'd be very intriguing, to be honest.
They're not doing big matches on TV. They got to save them all.
I mean, look tonight's main events, last man standing match. Like, it was a decent match, but in terms of star power, it's Braun versus Jacob Fatu, not exactly the strongest. And on Raw, what was it? Was it Braun and Penta against Judgment Day? Was that the main event?
Yeah.
No, actually, it was the women's title match was the main event.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. It was Io versus Rhea, which was a good main event.
Well,
With
went
Bianca
the
as the
opposite
referee.
way. Like I said, double winner and it's double loser.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, same kind of thing. Just if I was there watching it live, I think it's a crummy way to end the show, but that's their choice.
Yeah. They're saying it was a double disqualification because Rhea and Io both kind of hit Bianca at certain points in the match. So Bianca got tired of it, called the double DQ. And now they're still saying that it's just Io versus Bianca because Io's the champion and Bianca won the Rumble. But it's going to be a triple threat. Rhea's going to get in there somehow.
So it's a little clunky. And I'm not a fan of what they've done the last couple of weeks, too, where Io was left standing, then Bianca was left standing, now Rhea was left standing. It's kind of a tired little thing that they always do. Like,
yeah.
Better if it's like kind of back and forth or like got a one up on them or something. Or, I mean, it would have been more sense with Bianca because like she got beat down, so then beat them both down or something. Like, but no, it's like, well, one after the other.
Yeah, she just gets tired of it and DQs them. It would have been good if she just got annoyed and attacked them both and just left them laying. And there was no finish to the match. I thought that would have been a better move than just being like, I'm tired of them accidentally hitting me. They're both getting disqualified.
The finish was very poor. That's the main event of Raw, and that's your finish. Terrible.
Yeah. The best thing on Raw was definitely Cody and Cena. There was not much else on that show.
I didn't mind, what was it, New Day versus New Catch Republic. I thought that was a pretty decent match.
Okay.
I was kind of surprised, actually. I mean, that's New Catch Republic's like return, and they lost.
I wasn't surprised. I thought they were just there to lose.
Well, they were, and they did.
Jimmy Uso got beat up by Gunther in the match, and then Gunther zip-tied Jay to the ropes and made him watch his brother get beat up. Jimmy was bleeding. It was pretty good. Nice violence, good intensity.
The beatdown segment, sure, but like the match, I can't say it was anything special or like amazing. It was what it was, kind of thing. And I thought the beatdown, like the idea of the beatdown was fine, but the execution, again, a little bit off where the people are just at ringside, like, oh, stop. They don't do anything forever. Like they already came down to save them, Jay and Jimmy. And then Gunther comes back, beats them both down, does the whole tie-up, and then puts the beat down on Jimmy. And they just all stand ringside, do nothing. And then finally, once he gets a choke in, after it feels like forever in the choke, then they come in. I just thought that looked kind of stupid.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're not totally wrong, but I thought the overall vibe of it, the blood, the idea was good. You know, letting Gunther do it. And I think them scattering away was just out of fear of Gunther.
It was too long, though. Like, I get that, but it was way too long.
Yeah.
That was a very long segment. Just for the beatdown was long.
It was long. It was a little long. CM Punk just revealed the favor. And he says the favor is Paul Heyman is in my corner at WrestleMania, not yours. Roman doesn't believe it. You're happy about this?
No, but Roman let him do it, though.
Well, doesn't he have to?
Well, this is the thing now. Is like,
doesn't Heyman not have a choice? Roman's telling Heyman to turn him down, and Heyman's looking like, oh, I can't because the favor. You know what I mean? This is so dumb. What do you mean you can't? Fans are
now they're looking
CM
at each other. Now Roman's pissed. Roman's
because
upset.
CM Punk is his best friend, but Roman Reigns is his tribal chief. He's torn. He's crying. He doesn't know what to do. Roman told him to turn him down, but Heyman hasn't said anything, and Heyman is crying. Roman can't believe he's crying. He asked him if he's crying. Are you crying? Wipe the tears and tell him no, Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns wants you to say no. But Heyman is crying. He can't do it. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Don't you think that if Punk was really Heyman's best friend and was a good friend, he would realize that he'd be putting him in a really awkward position by asking him this favor and maybe wouldn't do it? But Punk is actually not a good friend, which obviously, if you followed CM Punk's career, you know that.
And of course, we need Seth in the ring for this, right? Like, Seth has to be there.
Well, he's in the match, but yeah, he's just kind of a sideshow to this. Roman and Heyman doing their acting. If they're best friends and that's the line that they're going with, like, isn't it a dick move for Punk to ask him to do this, to betray his tribal chief? Shouldn't he be like, I understand you're with Roman, it's cool. Just don't cheat to win for me. And now Heyman has told Roman that he cannot deny the request of the favor. He must be in Punk's corner at WrestleMania. He must. And Roman is not happy with it. Punk is like looking with an evil grin, which is, you know, he seems mean.
Oh, and Punk attacks Roman.
Wow. Is Punk a worse friend to Paul Heyman or Colt Cabana, I wonder?
Oh, and GTS.
Yes, Punk with the go to sleep on Roman Reigns. Roman kind of advanced on Heyman. Punk didn't like it, attacked Roman from behind and hit him with the GTS. Now Punk and Seth facing off. Heyman is really upset because Roman is down. He doesn't like it. Heyman's unhappy. You're going to give your best friend a heart attack, CM Punk. Is this what you want? You want to kill Paul Heyman at WrestleMania?
Seth is just going to leave the ring.
Seth is going to leave, and Punk's going to stand there with Heyman acting.
Well, it gives the people in Chicago like a happy ending for this show, so that's good for them. I definitely think Roman's winning now for sure. I think at Mania.
Punk leaves Roman laying at the end of SmackDown in Chicago. That's what the fans want to see. Punk on top of the champ, right? Or Roman in Chicago. I mean, not quite the champ, but you know, he is.
He's the champ of the night because that's the main event, right? Of Mania 1.
Is that the main event of night 1? Not night 2?
You think they'll end that? No, yeah, I definitely think that's night 1. I would think, regardless, that I think we're done with Cody versus Cena for now. I still think that's going to be night 2 main event.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think you are probably right about that, Johnny. So there you go. SmackDown. Charlotte Flair and Tiffy Time did a promo tonight.
Oh, boy.
It didn't quite work.
I mean, it got reactions. So there's that.
Yeah.
They tried.
I mean, Charlotte got a lot of boos, and she couldn't really speak. She couldn't really handle it either.
Yeah, she got mad about it. Like, yeah.
She got mad, she got flustered, and she just let Tiffy go off. And then Tiffy just went off and started berating Charlotte, and Charlotte couldn't say anything in response.
Well, she got one thing about Kaiser, and it's like, well, that was weird.
At the end, which seemed a little off script. Tiffy says Charlotte will always come in second to her father, and Charlotte's like, you're not the first one to say boo, 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 and then you can't hear Charlotte anymore, and she can't talk anymore. And then at a certain point, she's just like, and I said boo, 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 and then Charlotte's like, I'm going to let you get the last word, Tiffy, and it seems like she's saying, you know, say a couple more lines, but then Tiffy just goes on this whole monologue berating Charlotte. She's like, at 25, what were you doing, Charlotte? You were trying to play volleyball and drinking in your daddy's basement. Well, I'm 25 and I'm main evented WrestleMania. And it's like, oh, shit, drinking. She's had, you know, issues. And then Tiffy's like, you're a Nepo baby. And Charlotte's like, I'm the Nepo queen. I'm the best Nepo baby, number 1. And it's like, all right. Cena called Cody a Nepo baby on Raw. Tiffy's like, oh, what's that again? Oh, yeah, okay, I can say that about Charlotte. Then you start looking around the WWE, and you're like, you could say that about a lot of people. Cody, Randy, Charlotte. I mean, look around. Roman. They're everywhere. Who?
Ron Breaker?
Braun Breaker. Yeah, they're everywhere, John. They are everywhere. Not John Cena, not CM Punk, and not Tiffy time. Tiffy says, after WrestleMania, you are going to be just like you are outside of the ring, alone. And then she says, well, what is that? What's that record? 0-3? Woo! And then she exits the ring, which was a hell of a line. Like, Charlotte recently got divorced to Andrade. This is her third divorce. Tiffy saying Charlotte is alone and then saying she's 0-3. I mean, that's a shot. And wooing at the end is kind of like, yeah, you're chasing your daddy's records in more ways than one. It's not just championships, but like, how many times has Flair been divorced now? 4? 5?
I think 5, no?
5? That's absurd. And Charlotte's like up there. I mean, she may beat him in that too. And then Tiffy leaves, and it seems like the promo's over, and Charlotte has the mic, and she's like, well, how come Kaiser's in my DMs? And it's like, whoa, wait, what? All of a sudden, we're acknowledging that Ludwig Kaiser is Tiffy's real-life boyfriend, and Charlotte is saying that Kaiser is DMing her and trying to get with her, which, I mean, I think it was just a line, but it was weird. It came out of nowhere. Tiffy throwing some real shots. I mean, you want to talk about the snowballs that Cody and Cena were throwing at each other. They were throwing live grenades here tonight, John. They were going for the jugular.
Well, I think what happened was the promo went off the rails because the fans took it over and Charlotte wasn't able to talk. So then she said, oh, Tiffany, we'll just run with it. And to Tiffany's credit, she ran with it. It just maybe, it went kind of overboard a little bit. And obviously then Charlotte throws in that line. The problem with that line, I don't mind that line, but Tiffany's out of the ring and she doesn't really sell that line whatsoever. So it's like, who cares that you just said that?
Well,
like that's a decent line.
We heard it.
Yeah, but like, it's almost like a wet fart in church, almost pretty much. Like, you're kind of like, ooh, but you really do anything about it? No.
Okay. Sounds like you're speaking from experience. It was an interesting promo.
I guess.
What?
We went to different churches, I guess, possibly. Maybe you did something about it.
I didn't go to churches, John.
Well, I've been to funerals, sadly. Well,
I guess I've been to a church maybe once for a funeral. Maybe once.
See, everyone's always gone for a funeral. There you go. People that have died, sadly.
But, synagogues for me, brother. Me and MJF, brother. And Paul Heyman.
Was there something? Oh, there's something we'll talk about that, but that's later on, I guess.
What? Judaism?
Well, I was going to talk about the whole thing with Dark Side. Did you watch Dark Side of the Ring this week?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You want to talk about Ludwig Borg?
Yeah, we'll get to that later, I guess. But there you go.
You're like, Jews. Oh, yeah, Nazis. That's what your head goes to. Nazis, Jews, Ludwig Borg.
Right away.
Well, you were going to talk about, Passover's coming up, Dave. I was like, oh, yeah, I know. It's like next week, I think. Nope, that's not what Johnny's talking about. He's talking about the Nazi Ludwig Borga, who had a Dark Side of the Ring episode drop this week.
Rough. It was rough.
Oh, Nazi Scrazzy.
You learn some things sometimes in those episodes. You learn a lot.
You learn a lot. I did not know the story of Ludwig Borga. I don't know if I'm better for knowing it or not, but it was entertaining. It was entertaining. It was interesting. An interesting life from Ludwig Borga. Ridiculous. Okay, Johnny. Anything else in WWE? Can we jump over to AEW? I want to talk about the Dynasty going on this Sunday.
Trying to think, was there anything on
Ready?
Raw where I was like,
No.
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 Well, I just wanted to. Was there anything on Raw? I feel like there was something else on Raw where I was like, we should
wrong.
really talk about that. No? Was there nothing else happening on Raw?
Jimmy Uso, Gunther, New Day, Catch Republic, Braun Breaker and Penta versus Finn Balor and Dominic. Looks like a 4-way is going to happen. Finn and Dom won. El Grande Americano will wrestle next week in Chad Gable's hometown. Logan Paul and AJ Styles cut a promo. It was okay.
What? That thing was fine. Nothing really big off that. I guess they're gonna have, that's been made official, right? That match at Mania, if I'm not mistaken, right? AJ and Logan Paul.
Yes.
So that's something. But I actually was going to get to was Bailey and Lyra. Like that's going to be for the Intercontinental title next week on Raw, right?
Yeah.
Now that's not the Mania match.
Is the Mania match Bailey and Lyra versus Liv and Raquel, or do they even do that at Mania? Do they leave them off Mania? Like, what's...
Well, this is what leads into it again, because I believe Nick Aldis said there's a women's gauntlet next week, and whoever wins that will face Liv and Raquel at Mania. So I think Bailey and Lyra will be in that.
I am seeing that on the WrestleMania card. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus the winner of the women's gauntlet match. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship is official for WrestleMania.
Okay, wow. Good.
AJ Styles, Logan Paul as well. Io Sky defending the women's world title against Bianca Belair, although at this point, and even LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, I think that match is official, but you could have some participants added,
Sure. I'm okay with that match, though, to be honest.
I am, too. I think you want Rhea, though, added to the Bianca Io, right? You need that.
It wouldn't make sense if it didn't happen some way at this point. I feel like they almost have to add her in it.
You need Mommy at WrestleMania. She's one of the most over wrestlers in the business. She's got to be a Mania.
I don't disagree with you.
She's one of the best.
I don't disagree. She should be on WrestleMania. It's ridiculous if she's not. So yes.
Yeah. She'll be there. Gunther versus Jey Uso, of course, for the world title. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte for the women's title. Cody and John Cena and Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins in a triple threat. Those matches all official for WrestleMania. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, despite the fact that they are cutting continuous promos against each other, still not official for WrestleMania. Why?
Well, I guess they want to make a big deal. Like it's kind of like the whole Jade and Naomi thing tonight, right? They wanted to make a big deal of making it official. So I think that's why we're going to have a big segment with that. So
it's like they only want to announce so many matches on each TV show. They want to spread them out so you get news out of every show.
And that's it. Like it's to make it seem like there's a reason to watch these shows because as we've kind of gone through this whole recap of SmackDown, it was very slim pickings on this one. Even though you had some star power, it was really hard to find some stuff. But there was some stuff. Noteworthy stuff, at least. Yeah,
but that's it. They're trying to give you a reason to watch. Because it's a 3-hour show, and they're giving you Motor City Machine Guns and DIY, and you're like, DIY is this happening?
Well, there was also B-Fab against Naomi. I know you love that match.
Talk about unnecessary matches. Okay, AEW Dynasty going down this Sunday in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. AEW did their Dynamite show, of course, this past Wednesday. Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir wrestled Swerve Strickland and Willow Nightingale. Swerve and Willow won. There was a brawl after the match. Moxley and Willow did the back-to-back bumping into each other, and Moxley acted like he didn't know who he was bumping into, thought it was Swerve, and gave Willow the Death Rider DDT. which was shocking.
Yeah. Was it?
I mean,
Okay.
she sold it like she died. Swerve looked legit concerned. The selling of it was really well, and it was done really well. And the fact that Moxley actually did that to a woman, like the world champion hit his finishing move on a woman's wrestler on TV. Like, that doesn't happen every day. You don't see a man hitting a finishing move on a woman or doing any wrestling move to a woman in AEW or any wrestling company. I mean, some wrestling companies, but not on TV. Not TV wrestling, you know?
No, you're right. You're right. And the idea, I think, was good. The execution, I think, was a little bit off. Because, you know, they did the whole, like, accidental bump. If you notice that, like, Willow never really turned around. Like, Moxley had to turn her around, actually. So it did, like, I know what was supposed to be, like you said.
Yeah.
But Willow, like, didn't get the memo or something and, like, took the bump and, like, oh, whatever. So then Moxley had to turn around and give her the move. So it didn't look accidental whatsoever.
Yes. And because, exactly. And because Willow didn't quite turn around and Moxley had to take the extra second to turn her around and hit her with it, it's not like he hit her with it immediately out of instinct. He had to kind of grab her, turn her, do it. He was given ample time to, you know, once he turned her, back away and not do it, but he still did it because that was the spot. It wasn't really his fault, but I get the intention. I get what they were trying to pull off, and it worked well enough, John. It worked well enough. And then later, when Swerve is like really mad and he's like being interviewed by Renee backstage, like, look what your husband just did. He just assaulted a woman on TV. It didn't look accidental. And you have to stand there as his wife and be like, yeah, what do you think, Swerve? Swerve's like, I'm going to kill Moxley. Renee's like, gee, back to you, Tony Schiavone.
Well, I think Swerve mentioned, like, I'm going to take out your husband. I think he even said that.
In a later on interaction with Renee came back to Swerve for some reason during the broadcast when Swerve was backstage looking for Moxley, and he's like, you know, all due respect, Renee, I'm looking for Moxley right now, so I don't want to talk, you know? But that was later.
Yep. that was later. That's true. And here's another thing, too, though. Like, as devastating as that was, that Moxley did that, it was devastating. We'll take that away. But I actually found the table spot they did was far more devastating that Willow took, if you remember that.
Yeah.
That was, to me, that's why you should be seeing a doctor, because I thought she may have broken her neck, to be honest. That was insane, that spot.
It was a hell of a match.
It was definitely, like, because it was tornado tag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was all over the place.
Yeah.
Very chaotic. Like, you could tell they were trying not to do that whole thing, because there were some moments where it's like, well, Moxley should hit Willow because, like, it's anything goes, right, in this kind of match. So they were trying to make sure that didn't work out sometimes, and Willow hit Moxley quite a few times. I think Marina hit Swerve a few times, and there were some moments where the guys could hit the women, but they didn't. So, but they were working their way around it. They were trying things, and some moments happened too where that table spot, clearly not supposed to happen, where it looked like Willow was going to break her neck, but that almost happened, and they worked around it. And I don't know about you, like how you saw this, but they said Marina had Willow in like a triangle. It really looked like Willow had Marina up for a power bomb and was just waiting to like drop her to save Swerve being in a choke. But the commentator said, like, oh, it looks like she has her in a triangle. I don't know about you, how you saw that. Did that look like a triangle at any point whatsoever?
Not really. No. And Marina knows how to do one.
Well, did you also notice later on
maybe
the broadcast,
commentary's confused?
Well, I feel like Don Callis was kind of making fun of Taz a bit during, like, I think it was the Lance Archer match, where he's like, oh, Lance Archer with those judo strikes in the corner where he's just going like this. And, like, Taz is like, shut up, Don. I think he was making fun of the fact Taz like was off on his commentary a bit.
Yeah. I mean, Taz is a judo guy.
Yep.
But he acts like he knows all the holds and all the moves, and he doesn't. Like, because they're doing jiu-jitsu moves, too, in wrestling now, and when I hear Taz call some of them, I'm like, that's not what that is. Like, Taz doesn't actually know all the things, but he acts like he does. You know what I mean? Like, he acts like he's the MMA Street Fighter guy, and he understands, like, the judo throws and stuff because he does have a judo background, so that he's calling correctly. As far as I know, I'm not a judo guy, but I am a jiu-jitsu guy. And when I hear Taz call some of the moves, I go, that's not what that is, Taz. You know, but he doesn't know, and he's got to call something. So I give him a pass. He's Taz. He's cool. He wears orange. Who doesn't love orange? Am I right?
Well, I'll say this: the opening was exciting, a little crazy at points, and again, that table spot was highly dangerous. But the match definitely got my attention, without question.
Mm-hmm. Timeless Tony Storm beat Penelope Ford. The timeless one.
That was okay.
Yeah.
Finish was a little clunky, but besides that, it was fine.
Always great to see the timeless one. Edge beating Cesaro in the main event of Dynamite. And really the big thing of Dynamite was Swerve looking for Moxley and then Swerve running into Hangman backstage. And they had an interaction. And Hangman saying, you know, I'm never going to let you near the AEW title. I don't care if you got the title match this weekend. I'm not going to let you win. And Swerve's like, you got to let it go. It's in the past. And Hangman's like, I can't let it go. You came to my house. You were in my kid's room. And then Swerve's like, you burned down my house. And Hangman's like, you deserved it. And Swerve goes, I know. And then Hangman's like all thrown off. And he's like, what did you say to me? And he's like, I said I know. So Swerve like admits that he's at fault, and Hangman's like, oh, and then he's like all sad, and he walks away, and he doesn't know how to compute what Swerve is saying to him. So they have maybe buried the issue, or Hangman is maybe in a weird mental state where he's not sure what to make of Swerve, and he's maybe going to leave it alone. So I think they did that to ensure that people weren't wondering, like, oh, is Hangman going to come and interfere? Because Hangman now has kind of made some sort of truce, peace, whatever, with Swerve ahead of Swerve's title match, even though Hangman has vowed in the past to never let Swerve regain the AEW World title. Now, because Swerve has said that he deserved to get his house burned down by Hangman because of the horrible things he's done to Hangman, he's admitting culpability, which has confused the Hangman, but still, I think maybe Hangman will leave him alone on Sunday. What'd you think of the moment, John? Sporting my new Hangman Adam Page t-shirt, which was only available for like a week. It was limited edition, there for a week, gone. But I got one because I thought it was cool, and I love the Hangman. It's got a cool, like, skeleton horse with a skeleton man riding it. It says Hangman Adam Page, official AEW. Gotta love the Hangman.
Is that your only Hangman t-shirt?
Yeah.
I don't think you've had any other. Wow.
No.
Okay. Cool.
I mean,
neat.
I love Hangman, you know? And I saw it. I thought it was a cool shirt. So I was like, yeah, let's buy it. Let's support AEW instead of the evil TKO. Don't buy WWE stuff. Buy other things. And AEW is all right. Hangman is great. I hope Hangman gets some money from this because he's awesome.
You say this, and yet there's like a wall of like WWE stuff, I think, right behind you. But okay. Like,
Yeah. Well, I love Hulk Hogan, brother. Everybody loves Hulk Hogan. I mean, not so many people love Hulk Hogan anymore, but I remember a time when everybody loved Hulk Hogan. The year was 1990, and things were fantastic.
Well, I think you got a great T-shirt. I think my shirt's a bit better, which is still
Obviously.
available. You can get off ringsidereport.net.
Merch.ringsidereport.net. Go buy the Johnny Genesis shirt. It's nice. I have one too.
I believe the numbers-
Merch.ringsidereport.net. Go buy the Johnny Genesis shirt. It's nice. I have one too.
And I believe we have a brand new T-shirt as well. I believe it's the Suck It AJ and Fred T-shirt, if I'm not mistaken. So check that out.
What?
Oh, you haven't seen that T-shirt? It's fantastic. It's not real. I don't think it actually says "Suck It AJ and Fred," but basically, if you look at that T-shirt, it kind of says that if you think about it.
Suck It AJ and Fred.
If like the symbolism is there. Angela knows what I'm talking about. If Angela's seen that T-shirt,
the elbows up gear that we have now.
There you go.
Is that what you're talking about?
That's definitely what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. You could buy that at merch.ringsidereport.net.
I mean, if you want to come out with a Suck It and AJ Fred and T-shirt, that'd be good too. But
Suck It AJ and Fred. I would wear that on every Thursday night episode of Ringside Report. Suck It AJ and Fred. How about Suck It AJ and sometimes Fred? In brackets, and sometimes. Just my face, like, mad. That's stupid. That's a dumb idea. Okay. The Owen Hart Cup tournament brackets final tournaments for the AEW World Championship shot has been announced.
Both men and women's.
Men and women. The winner gets an AEW title shot at All In. That's
right.
All In is in July, and AEW announced this week that it's going to be at like 3 p.m.
Something like that, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of events going on that whole week. They announced the whole week. Like, there's a Dynamite Wednesday. The Collision is live on Thursday. A lot's going down that whole week of July, if I'm not mistaken.
Good.
Yeah, well, good for them, sure.
And if they do these marathon pay-per-views, that's going to be a long one. If they have it in the afternoon, it's not as bad.
Us. Huh? Yes, for us, that's fantastic. Yes, to get watched in the afternoon instead of late at night. Like, that'd be rough.
Yeah. Taking a look at the brackets for AEW's Owen Hart Cup tournament. Brett burying AEW this week on Ariel Helwani, saying that they're all.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Pretending to be wrestlers.
Like I really wonder which guys he's talking about. Like, because I feel like maybe that's a bit accurate, but I don't feel like it's completely accurate. And then some statements that he said, like, oh, it's not wrestlers like they used to be. And then he says, like, oh, they should be like Roman Reigns. And I'm like, I don't get that one, Brett. I really don't get that at all. Like, Roman is exactly that actor thing that you're talking about. Like, exactly that. So I don't understand that one.
Me neither. For him to be like, all AEW guys are actors pretending to be wrestlers, not like Roman Reigns, I go, isn't Roman Reigns the actor pretending to be a wrestler, and AEW, those are the guys that are actually doing hard-hitting wrestling? It was the first time I heard Brett talk about wrestling, and I go, I don't know. I think I disagree.
Well, no, I think he might be right. There might be definitely, I think, some guys in AEW I'm not thinking about right now that are more actors than wrestlers.
Sure.
There's definitely some guys like that. And Roman Reigns was the bad example, I think, though. I don't know what he's talking. Like, Roman's not the worst wrestler, but definitely in terms of the promos, like, he's more of a movie actor, I would say. Like, he's striving for that. There's no question about that. You see, like, the way they're doing the whole theme songs during the promos all the time.
Yeah.
He's definitely trying that.
And for him to single out AEW as the actor wrestlers, where WWE, it's like that's their whole style now is actor wrestling. It's weird. But I guess he's got a Legends deal with WWE, right? He's going to be... Hey, don't forget, John.
Hall of Fame.
Don't forget. Okay, Brett is saying this. He's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame with Austin for their match in a couple of weeks. And he's on that Helwani show who hates AEW and has been paid by WWE. So, I mean, take it for what it is. Don't forget, where the message is coming from. Very powerful people. And I'm sure Brett, knows that if he buries AEW, he might win some extra points with WWE. So why not throw that in there? He's burying AEW, says, a lot of them are actor wrestlers, it's not very good. Meanwhile, that guy Dax Harwood just like The whole FTR team just kind of worshiping the ground Brett walks on. I'm sure they hear that and they go, oh, well, I hope he's not talking about us. But he kind of buried the whole company, didn't he?
Well, again, like I don't think he's completely inaccurate with some of the statements that he said, but
Sure. But Will Ospreay?
yeah, again, like when you think about what they're striving for, I feel AEW's like they focus more on the wrestling. That's their thing. And WWE, they focus more on the stories, the drama. So, yeah, I wonder a bit. But again, like you said, it's on Ariel's show, and maybe Brett felt that he's got to steer it more towards that negative AEW slant, possibly, because that's what he's getting paid to say pretty much. So it's possible Brett did that. I'm not saying that he didn't, but it's something I'd like to see Brett in a different environment, what he would say, actually.
WWE's, going on the offensive against AEW. You see them talk about them in their promos. You see CM Punk saying, I work with children. You see John Cena telling Cody Rhodes, oh, you stole money from a billionaire's kid, because he sees that, AEW is kind of nothing, and if you're working for them, you're just stealing money from the kid. And it's, like that was a really rough comment from John Cena, basically called Tony Khan a money mark in a promo on Monday Night Raw. This is coming from John Cena, a very important, influential guy in the business who also waves that WWE flag real hard and wants to appease his corporate Hollywood boss, Ari Emanuel, and Nick Khan by saying whatever pro-WWE, anti-AEW thing he can to get more points. And this is what they're all trying to do. And they won't let it go. Like, they're all going on the offensive. I mean, Ricky Starks and Ethan Page had a match in NXT, and the fans in NXT are chanting Tony fumbled. Talking about Tony Khan, saying, oh, he fumbled with Ricky Starks and Ethan Page. I don't think he did. I think he knew what he had. NXT is trying to do something with them, but I'm not watching NXT for that. Tony fumbled. I thought it was funny, but I disagree.
Like, they had their runs. That's it. Now they're having their NXT runs. That's what it is.
WWE, they're going after AEW right now. They're going hard after them. I think they're trying to run them out of business, trying to make them kind of a joke. They're moving their whole propaganda machine against AEW. This Brett stuff might be part of it.
I saw what Jason wrote, that Brett's kind of bitter in his last couple of years in promos and all that. Like, I think Brett actually has a legitimate gripe because they've had the Owen Hart tournament for the last couple of years, and you've never seen Brett involved whatsoever. So I can understand that maybe he has a bit of a beef with AEW because you have this tournament, like, honoring the legacy of, like, his late brother, and you never have him involved at all. It was in Calgary, and Brett was involved at all. So I could see there might be a little bit of resentment or possibly bitterness with the AEW and Brett. And I understand if there is. And I understand if they don't want to work with him, because maybe if Martha doesn't like Brett, hey, that's Martha's decision.
Yeah. Jason Pete, member of the team in the chat. What's up, Jason? Out in Mexico. Speaking of Mexico, Leor, another member of the team, asking, is Rey Fenix actually Penta's brother? Yes, they are actually real-life brothers. The Lucha Bros are actually bros. Bret Hart doesn't like AEW, but AEW loves Owen Hart. They have a tournament for him every year with the winner getting a title shot at their biggest show of the year, All In. And there is the bracket for you. There is Will Ospreay taking on Kevin Knight in the first round, whoever that is. What the hell's he doing in a tournament to get a world title shot? He's never been in AEW, and he's in the tournament? It's ridiculous.
So what happened is it was supposed to be, I'm blanking on his name right now. Jay White. It's supposed to be Jay White.
Right.
But Jay White apparently got injured, I believe, in the match with Kevin Knight on Collision. And Kevin Knight, I believe he's coming from NXT. So he was very impressive. I don't know if you if you really watched that match, like on Collision, or like checked out the tag match he had with Ospreay this week,
I saw the tag
he
match.
actually looked. You didn't watch the tag match?
No, I saw the tag match. I didn't see the
Okay, you
collision.
saw the tag match. He looked very, in both matches, I thought he looked very impressive. Like, they're having the match this Sunday, too. Like, obviously, Ospreay's going to win, but I think it might actually be a pretty decent match, regardless.
That's Ospreay's pay-per-view match.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's weird to have a guy who's not really wrestled in AEW all of a sudden in a tournament where he gets a shot to have a world title shot. He doesn't seem like he's done enough in AEW to merit that.
I won't disagree with you, and it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be Jay White, but Jay White got hurt, and apparently Jay White is going to be out for a while, too. So
Again?
yeah, that's devastating. Like, you come off one big injury and then you get another big injury again. That's rough for him. You got to start wondering about like long term his career then too.
Yeah, I think this is
Hopefully he
Will
comes
Ospreay's tournament to win.
I mean, you always think about the wild card.
Or Hangman.
Who is the wild card?
I don't know. Who could the wild card be?
I'm telling you, if it's MJF, I think MJF's going to win it.
MJF beating Hangman in the opening round would be crazy. Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher there on one side of the bracket with Hangman and a wild card. When's Hangman wrestling the wild card? Is it on Sunday?
I don't believe so. I believe it's just like the first bracket, right? Brody King and Konosuke. I think that's on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And Ospreay's match, but I don't think the other matches are on Dynasty. I think it's the same thing with the women as well. It's one side of the bracket, but not both sides.
I think you are correct. Let's take a look at the women's bracket. There is the women's bracket. Jamie Hayter and Billy Starks. Thunder Rosa, Chris Statlander. Then on the other side, it's Harley Cameron and Athena and Mercedes Moné and Julia Hart. I think Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm at All In would be pretty cool. All the belts on the line. That's the biggest match you could do in the AEW women's division right now.
Yeah. Besides, I think Mercedes versus Athena. Like, I'm surprised they didn't book that where that could be the final. Like, in fact, that's going to be the semifinal. To me, that's very surprising off that, because I know you're going like, but I mean, she's the ROH Women's Champion, and like well over a year she's been the ROH Women's Champion, and that's going to be a semifinal match, champion versus champion. That should be the finals match. That should be double or nothing, I think.
Yeah, but Toni Storm is the women's champion in AEW, and Mercedes Moné is the TBS champion, and those two divisions have never really faced off, and those two champions have never faced off for all the belts on the line. I think it would be cool. For All In, you want to do the biggest match possible. Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné, they're the biggest names in the AEW women's division. You may be a fan of Athena and all that, but she's not a big name in pro wrestling. Not like Mercedes and Toni Storm.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Athena's from Texas. I just think if it fits.
I guess you could do Mercedes versus Athena in Texas, and then you could do Toni Storm and Mariah May, the trilogy.
Well, no, I mean, whoever wins the Owen is going to All In, right? So
oh, yeah,
Mercedes,
no, you're right. You're right. So Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa?
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, Athena can still have a match. It doesn't need to be for the women's title, right? She could defend the ROH women's title, right? So you can still get everyone on it. It doesn't have to be the match, right?
Yeah. So who's your pick to win the Owen and face Toni Storm at All In? I think, Thunder Rosa is also from Texas, is she not?
She is.
And
like,
Thunder and Tony have been teaming up. Tony's,
right.
She faces her tag team partners.
On that side of the bracket, I like Thunder a lot. And Jamie Hayter, to be honest, too, but I don't think she'll go all the way. But I like Thunder on that side. It's tough to say how it's going to work out. But if I'm not mistaken, from Dynasty, I believe it's Mercedes' match, right? And did they make it official yet? Is it Athena and Harley at Dynasty?
No. We have Mercedes versus Julia Hart, but I don't have Harley Cameron's match. She's not wrestling in Dynasty.
Not yet. Well, we still have Collision this Saturday, though.
There's 10 matches that they have official for this thing. They could add more, but my God.
We've done it before.
Yeah.
Remember this happened, I believe, the last pay-per-view.
Okay, let's get to AEW All In. It'll be headlined by Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Swerve Strickland. Timeless Tony Storm. This
is Dynasty, not All In.
What did I say? Dynasty? I thought I said Dynasty. Dynasty. You
said All In.
Okay, Dynasty this Sunday, April 6th in Philadelphia. Moxley, Swerve, world title. Tony Storm versus Megan Bayne for the AEW Women's title. Kenny Omega defending his AEW International title against Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey in a triple threat. The trios titles on the line. Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta defending against Rated FTR, Edge, and the FTR. Chris Jericho defending his Ring of Honor world title for title versus mask against Bandito, putting his mask on the line. Daniel Garcia defending the AEW TNT Championship versus Adam Cole. The Hurt Syndicate, they hurt people. The AEW Tag Team Champions defending against the Learning Tree, Big Bill and Brian Keith. Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight in an Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinal. Mercedes Moné and Julia Hart in a quarterfinal as well. And Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe also on this for a quarterfinal. So you would imagine with two men's quarterfinal matches that they would add a women's quarterfinal match to this because they only have one. Maybe they would do two. So you're probably right. And we'll see Harley Cameron and Athena on this, or maybe as the pre-show match because they haven't announced anything for the buy-in, the pre-show, as they call it, right? Maybe the buy-in.
They usually have 4 or 5 matches on that, so yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, they haven't announced anything for the buy-in, John. So let's break it all down and see who's winning this stuff. Kyle Fletcher, Mark Briscoe. Let's start there. Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinal match. I think Fletcher wins this one. I just think that he's getting pushed more. Briscoe doesn't win a lot of big matches. You know, Fletcher is a lot of fun. He's got some steam on him. He's interesting. He's a good wrestler. He's, got that irritating face. He's all right. I think he advances and faces the winner of Hangman versus Wildcard, whoever the Wildcard might be.
Well, this is also a rematch, if you don't remember, from the Continental Classic where Mark Briscoe beat Kyle Fletcher. So this is Fletcher's revenge here. So, yeah.
There you go. Even more reason to pick Kyle Fletcher. Mercedes Moné taking on Julia Hart. I mean, come on. Quarterfinal match, I think Mercedes wins this. Julia Hart's not going to be the first one to beat Mercedes in a quarterfinal match for the Owen tournament. Like, come on. No.
I think if Julia and Athena are lucky, they'll win their tag match on Collision tomorrow, but that's about as far as they'll get in this one. I think it'll be a good learning experience for Julia to have this kind of match with Mercedes. That's a big-time match for her to have, and it's good that she's actually on pay-per-view again. It's been a while.
Julia Hart can always tell people she wrestled the great Sasha Banks on pay-per-view once. And they'll say, really? You? Will Ospreay wrestling Kevin Knight in an Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinal match. Ospreay
on the pay-per-view. Well, yes, pay-per-view. But
yeah, Kevin Knight will get to tell people he wrestled the great Will Ospreay on pay-per-view. And they'll say, really?
I'd say I was very impressed with Kevin Knight. Like, he gets great hang time on everything that he does. Like, I'm very much looking forward to this. It's going to be your typical kind of match, Ospreay kind of match, and I don't think it should be super competitive. Like, it shouldn't be like a 30-minute marathon kind of match, but I expect it's going to be a very entertaining match. Probably the opener, I would think.
Ospreay's always good at the beginning of the show. How about this? The Hurt Syndicate, Tag Team Champions, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin defending against Big Bill and Brian Keith. MJF still trying to gain favor with these guys. Bobby Lashley not having it.
I expect the Hurt Syndicate to win this one. It was unfortunate that Sheldon couldn't make it because of travel issues for Dynamite, but I really think there's still a lot the Hurt Syndicate can do. Like, they're only just starting right here. They're still, like, I think the best thing in the whole tag division, without question. They're going to help build the tag division, in my opinion. I think them being around MJF just makes them more interesting, shows that they can have that going on, and they're having their own tag kind of feud going on. MJF could get involved in this too, because he's not wrestling, if I'm not mistaken, on Dynasty. So
no,
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets involved here.
He's not wrestling on Dynasty, and he's not technically in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. It's kind of weird.
Well, that's why I'm thinking he's the wild card. I'm like, he's talking about the title, and he's not in the title picture.
Yeah.
He's got to be the wild card, I think.
What's the deal with him and the Hurt Syndicate, though? MVP seems to want MJF in the group, and Bobby Lashley is not into it. And MJF still wants to be in the group. MVP and MJF seem like they want to, be together, but Bobby seems to be against it. Is this going to lead to MJF and MVP kind of branching off with Bobby and Shelton staying together against them? Like, what's the story? What's going on?
It's one of two things going to happen. Either they're all going to join up, or I think MJF is going to wrestle Bobby to have to prove himself to get into the Hurt Syndicate. I think one of those two things will happen.
Prove himself, beat Bobby. Bobby will fall in line, but he'll be unhappy, and then it'll eventually blow up in their face. MJF will be the annoying guy proclaiming himself as the leader of this group.
Typical kind of thing that could happen. It's very possible. I would much rather see MJF with the Hurt Syndicate. I think that would make them all more interesting if that happened.
I think it would be pretty funny for MJF to join the Hurt Syndicate, then all of a sudden start telling those three guys what to do. I think the dynamic of that would be hilarious, as long as it was done right. It could be done bad, where you go, but, he doesn't fully fit into the group, if you know what I mean. But I think him with the group could be pretty good. I think it could work very well.
I think it would be entertaining television. I think they're all characters that could bounce off each other. And again, I think the wrestling, that's the main part. They're all good wrestlers, so you should have good wrestling matches.
MJF can bring a little personality to Bobby and Shelton. Make it fun. Make him a little bit more fun. Okay, so we both see Bobby and Shelton winning this match, retaining the tag titles. It's good that Bobby and Shelton are building themselves up like a strong tag team, like you mentioned, John, for the AEW tag division. It's perfect because they're building themselves up really strong so that when the Young Bucks can come back, they can beat like a real team, take the belts back.
Well, good luck to that. I don't know if the Bucks are the ones to do it, but...
Oh, come on. It's AEW, John. Have you not been watching the show? It's obviously the Bucks that do it. It's not FTR. They're breaking up.
Well, I guess we can lead into that match. I don't think Rated FTR is going to win, but I don't think FTR is going to break up. I think they're going to disband with Edge, but the team will just turn heel, and that will help lead them to face the Hurt Syndicate down the road soon.
The Hurt Syndicate are baby faces?
I think they are, because they're kind of not with MJF, right?
Yeah. But if they were, they'd be heels. It's weird.
I know it's weird, but the Wrestling Jericho's group definitely heels.
Yeah.
Hurt Syndicate are default baby faces.
I guess you're right. Okay, so Rated FTR also currently baby faces, but you think that Cash is going to agree with Dax, turn on Edge, and maybe they will beat up Edge after they lose this Trios tag team title match against Claudio, Pac, and Wheeler?
Sadly, I would have liked to seen Rated FTR win the Trios titles, actually, because I think Death Riders have had a long enough run with those titles. They've been champions for almost a year now.
Yep.
I think Rated FTR, to me, that would have been the Trios to beat them, but I guess they're going a different direction with these guys, which I think is fine if FTR get the tag titles back.
Those Trios belts mean nothing. FTR getting the tag titles back may happen. I'm not really sure, but because they're teasing so much dissension in the ranks between FTR and Edge and everything, they're not really getting along, but they're trying to. I don't see them winning and going on a title run while they're not getting along. It just doesn't seem to make sense, so I've got the Death Rider team winning that one. Daniel Garcia defending the AEW TNT Championship against Adam Cole. The match has no time limit. Oh, great. And no outside interference is permitted, which, whatever. This is a match I don't want to see.
So who do you have for this? You know what? I'm actually going to go with Adam Cole to win this one because I don't have any title changes yet.
I agree.
Okay, well, that's too bad that I was going to go different. I thought you were going to say Daniel Garcia, but I think Adam Cole's going to win just to add some spice to this, like, TNT title, like, make it a bit different. I think Daniel Garcia, he's had an okay run, but doesn't really add any excitement. I think Adam Cole would add some excitement to it.
Yeah, I think he'd make the title a little bit more interesting. Garcia's run has been pretty flat as far as I'm concerned. And I think a title change is the only reason to be putting this on pay-per-view. This could be a match on Collision in the middle of the show and no one would notice. But instead, it's on pay-per-view. Huh?
They've done this a couple times on Collision already, so.
Exactly. Yeah. It's, not exciting. But we've got a new champion with Adam Cole, baby, TNT Championship. How about Chris Jericho defending his Ring of Honor World Championship against Bandito, putting his mask on the line? I don't see Bandito unmasking. I think we see another title change here with Bandito taking the ROH title away from Jericho.
Yeah, but it's an ROH title, so it's kind of different. And they also, I think, have an ROH pay-per-view coming up not too long. So, yeah, I think Jericho loses, but he'll get a rematch at the ROH pay-per-view. Might even win the title back. So, yeah, this is just to add some interest to ROH and for you to watch the ROH pay-per-view.
Yeah, okay. I probably still won't. And I don't know if this Jericho-Bandito match is going to entice us. But then again, every time I'm kind of growing tired of Jericho's antics, and I'm kind of like, this is getting stale a little bit. Is he ever going to pack it in? When does he retire? He goes out and has like a kick-ass match, and I go, wow, look at that guy. He still got it. So I'm expecting this match to be fun because Jericho surprises me, and I think it'll be all right. But, yeah, Jericho's been wrestling for a really long time, and he's 54 years old, and I just get the feeling that people now think of him as the current version of him, and the current version of him is not at all what he was at one point. Like, at one point, people considered him one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and now people just consider him a nuisance to AEW for the most part. Like, you hear fans talk about him, and it's just like, it pains me as a Chris Jericho fan to hear people talk about him and refer to him in the ways that they do. But, given who he's been for the past 3-4 years, I don't blame certain fans from talking about him because they're talking about current Jericho. Like, at what point is he tarnishing the legacy, by continuing on? Like, I don't know. Once in a while, like, he pulls it out, and it's like, wow, okay, he's still got some gas left in the tank, but, it's not the same Chris Jericho. It's obviously not the same. I mean, he's not supposed to be, but at what point do you kind of say, okay, we're good?
I think he'll figure that out. Like, when he's done with it, he's done with it. And, like, I think he still has a lot to offer and give. And I think his feuds right now, they get better as they go on, actually. I know some people are like, they go on too long, whatever, or he kills them. I actually find, like, his matches get better. And the fact that he's wrestled Bandito a couple times already, I think he has the opportunity right here to have the best match he's had with Bandito. So I think this could be very good, this match.
Yeah, I think it could be good. I don't disagree with you. I just think, like, man, the learning tree stuff, it's kind of like, all right, how many groups with AEW can he really try to lift guys up and, make guys? And it's like, it's never really working. We're Sammy Guevara, It's not working.
To be fair, Sammy was his own worst enemy, too. So that's...
it wasn't Jericho's fault. I'm just saying, like, he's had so many groups over the years, and he has guys with him and this and that, and it's kind of like, all right, Hager's not there anymore, and it's like now he's got these two guys, and it's kind of the same old thing, and there's little differences here and there, but I don't know. I see Jericho now in AEW, and I'm not as interested or excited as I was, 4 or 5 years ago.
No, I get that, but I also see that we're booking him to lose and his teammates to lose. So off that, something's got to happen with that. Like the learning tree, I don't think it's run its course, but I think it's definitely due for another evolution in its step, I think.
Yeah, or maybe it has run its course, so we see Jericho losing the Ring of Honor title. We see the Hurt Syndicate beating his boys Big Bill and Brian Keith. How about Kenny Omega defending the AEW International Championship against Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey? I think this could be match of the night easily. This is going to be very good. No matter what is the best match, this will be a good one. I think Kenny will retain the AEW International title. He just won it. But my goodness, am I happy that AEW is putting this one on their pay-per-view. This is the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is like Ospreay versus Fletcher from the last pay-per-view. This is the match you're like most excited for. The belief is like this one could easily steal the show. More than likely will. And off all the other matches, this is a 3-way. So it's anything goes. And it's in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So I expect more of that kind of like ECW kind of style match. That's what the fans want to see. And they can deliver it because that's the style of match. So I definitely think this is the match that people are going to be talking about after Sunday is over.
I just hope Mike Bailey doesn't die. I don't
think he'll die.
I don't think he'll die, but I hope he doesn't get seriously injured. Because think about it. He's wrestling on pay-per-view. It's his first AEW pay-per-view. Okay?
Right.
His first AEW pay-per-view, he's working a 3-way against Ricochet, like a big WWE star now in AEW, and Kenny Omega, like a living legend of the business, for a championship. And he's allowed to just go all out and do whatever. Like, Mike Bailey has so much to prove in this match. He's going to go nuts. He's going to do some crazy shit. You know it. I'm just hoping that he, stays relatively safe. But I just picture, a guy like that in this type of position where you go, oh, my God, I'm working Ricochet and Kenny Omega on pay-per-view for AEW, my first AEW pay-per-view. Your first AEW pay-per-view, you're wrestling Kenny Omega and Ricochet? Man, that's huge. And, it's the type of match where you're kind of expected to go and do crazy shit, right? So Mike Bailey knows what he's expected to do. Kenny's going to go all out. You can't do less than Kenny does. You can't do less than Ricochet. You're the new guy. You got to prove yourself to the audience. So Mike Bailey's got to show up and do some crazy stuff. I just hope it's not too crazy because I believe he will. I'm wondering how far he'll take it. Like, how far would you take it if you're in this match, John? You know what I mean? It's you just got signed to AEW. All of a sudden you're working Ricochet and Kenny. Like, wouldn't you be willing to do just about anything?
Sure, but it's a different kind of circumstance because, like, he wrestled these guys years ago already. Like, he's wrestled Kenny, he's wrestled Ricochet before in the past, so he's had experience with these guys. He's had experience in these kind of situations. He's had pay-per-view matches. Maybe he didn't watch TNA, but he did have big pay-per-view matches in the past. He's had big multi-man matches in the past, and, like, sure, this is a big time for him to step up, but I have no worries of him being able to do that. It's just, the question is, like, I know it's going to be good. It's just, how good is it going to be?
He wrestled Ricochet?
Pretty sure he wrestled him in PWG, if not mistaken, no?
Was Mike Bailey in PWG when Ricochet was there? I thought Ricochet was probably, was in WWE by the time Bailey was wrestling in PWG.
Oh, I know he definitely wrestled Kenny. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wrestled Kenny somewhere. But Mike Bailey started wrestling PWG 2015. Okay, so it's possible that he wrestled Ricochet. It would make sense. He's wrestled a lot of the top wrestlers around the world. I don't see Ricochet necessarily on his list of opponents here, but, I'm sure. Let's see. Mike Bailey versus Ricochet. Can we pull up a match?
You might want to check for tags too, or big like battle royals they've done too. Because PWG would always like end their shows with like a big like huge tag match, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I don't know if he's ever wrestled Ricochet. He's wrestling Kenny Omega
already.
Again.
He's wrestled him in AEW already, so he does have experience with Ricochet. They had that 4-way.
Yeah. Anyways, the match is going to be great.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I definitely know he's going to step up to the occasion. And
I'm not worried.
again,
I just know that what he's capable of, and I think, like, man, you're going to go all out. I mean, Ricochet is the same way. Like, this is a big match for him.
Well, with him, I was thinking, like, he might win this championship. I think there's a good possibility. But if they're going to do Kenny versus Okada, title versus title at All In, you kind of can't do that for Ricochet to win. So, but I mean, it doesn't hurt Ricochet not to win the title here. It's still a big match. Again, the match people are talking about the most, so that's not a bad thing.
I agree. I think Kenny retains. He just won it. Ricochet and Speedball are cool, but I just don't see them taking a belt off Kenny right now. If anybody's going to take a belt off Kenny, I think it's going to have to be a more established star, somebody bigger. Bigger name, bigger match. This is just a fun match to throw on pay-per-view for Kenny. Toni Storm defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Megan Bayne. I think Toni will retain. I think this match will be great because Toni is great, and Megan Bayne so far has been pretty good. I think it would be interesting to have Megan Bayne win, though, because she's new, and you're expecting her not to win. Toni just won the belt back, but if she comes in and just, like, brutalizes Toni and beats her, you go, oh, my God, this Megan Bayne is something. AEW is really pushing her. She's something else. She's like like they could do something. They could make Megan Bayne by having her beat Toni and then have Toni beat her in a couple weeks or whatever, next pay-per-view, beat her in the rematch. But if Megan Bayne actually won, I think it would do a lot for Megan Bayne. And beating Megan Bayne, I don't think does that much for Toni Storm. It's just Megan Bayne is her opponent here, and that's who she has in front of her. I think Toni probably wins, but I kind of want Megan Bayne to win here just to kind of, make somebody else in the division. They really need stars. You can't just wait for Mariah May to come back all the time. You got to make other people.
Well, I think they did a good job building up Megan to face Toni to make her a believable threat contender. But this is also her first opportunity at the championship in a pay-per-view match. So this is more of a proving ground kind of match in a sense, where it's let's see what you can do in the spotlight against our top talent. We've seen what you've done on television against some pretty good talent. Now you're going up against the best. I think this is more of just a test.
Yeah, but what if, I don't know. I don't see it being a bad thing for your first title match where you win, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you got to pay attention to Megan Bayne.
I think people will still pay attention to her. I don't think it's like, oh, she has to win kind of thing. I don't think we've done the whole undefeated streak already before. It's not the greatest thing in the world. Like, I think they could do more with Megan actually not winning, and then she has to fight her way back to get the championship match again. Actually, I see
back down
more
the ladder.
Toni. That's not the worst thing in the world. I think it's better Toni as the champion right now. That's what people want to see.
What's next, though?
Well, Toni will always come up with something. She's always like, when she comes on the screen, it's like, I got to pay attention to this because it's very important.
Yeah, it's always great with Toni Storm.
Megan's not there yet.
No, Toni Storm is a great champion. I think she retains. Like, I don't want to see Toni Storm have, lose the belt for a long period of time. I said, 2 weeks, a month, give it right back to her. I just thought, put the belt on Megan Bayne for a little bit, have her beat Toni in a shocking win on pay-per-view, you kind of make people respect Megan Bayne all of a sudden, where if she loses, it's kind of like, oh, she was just built up to be the challenger for Toni. She's lost, and now we'll never see her again.
Yeah, but she could lose where it's like a roll-up kind of thing, where it's like, oh, Toni just escaped that match. What if it happens again kind of thing? You can build that as well. So
sure.
I don't think it would be the end of Megan to lose this.
Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Swerve. Whose house? I'd like it to be Swerve's house. I would like Swerve to win.
You would.
Wouldn't you?
I'm not picking him, sadly. I want to pick him, but I'm picking Moxley. I'm sure that maybe that upsets a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people want Moxley to win, but I just don't feel it's the time. Because I feel like they're really pushing this Owen Hart tournament and Ospreay. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe MJF, maybe Swerve will win, and then MJF will win the Owen Hart. But until that's for sure going to happen, I feel like Moxley's going to be the champion.
Who won when Swerve and Ospreay wrestled? Ospreay, no? Or Swerve?
Swerve won. That was at last year's Forbidden Door, no, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swerve champion, Ospreay revenge, all in?
I really like Swerve against MJF if they would do that. But wait and see.
I think Swerve versus MJF, Hangman Page, or Will Ospreay is a far more compelling match than Jon Moxley versus any of those guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ospreay, they kind of build him as the top babyface, right? They've kind of slot him in that position.
Yeah. And Moxley's the top heel, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the greatest match in the world, but I'm just saying in terms of positioning, the totem pole, I get that. It makes sense.
Where you kind of make all in Ospreay's crowning moment where he finally becomes AEW World Champion for the first time by beating the evil Jon Moxley and toppling his reign of terror. It's a good story. But in the meantime, we have to wait, May, June, a chunk of July with Moxley still champion, when we could have Swerve as a champion, which is more fun. And like we said, there are big matches for Swerve. Like Swerve Hangman for the belt at All In is massive.
Of course. And hey, I wouldn't be mad if it happens. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think Moxley's going to win, but man, am I ever pulling for Swerve. Like, I think Moxley's going to win, but I'm going into this match thinking Swerve's got a chance. No? You don't think he's got a shot? You think it's for sure Moxley? Like, some of these matches I'm convinced. Like, I'm convinced Kenny's retaining his title. I'm convinced that, the Hurt Syndicate are defending the tag titles. But I'm not fully convinced that Moxley's walking away with the belt. I could see them giving it to Swerve at this point. I don't think they will, but there's I think a 5% chance where I'm like, maybe Swerve, it'd be nice. And then, I'm rooting for him. I want to see him win. So I'm excited about the match because I think it'll be interesting, and I want to see what the finish is because just beating Swerve outright, I think you got to cheat to win, for Jon Moxley to keep Swerve strong. He can't just beat Swerve clean. I think he's going to have his goons help him out.
Well, it's funny. Like, I remember the last pay-per-view, like, we had the same picks, right? And I'm like, well, I'll be different on one. And that actually worked because it was the MJF Hangman one. So I'll be different in this one, too. I'll go with Swerve,
Good.
Actually. Because,
I hope you're right.
It really, I hope I'm right, too. I hope you're wrong.
It could go either way, right?
It really could go either way. So hopefully it goes my way.
I hope it does. Your way or the highway, Johnny North. Swerve's house. I hope he wins at AEW Dynasty this Sunday, taking the world title away from Jon Moxley. So we're picking all the same winners except for the main event, because what the hell? Let's flip it on the main event. Thanks for making it interesting, John. Kyle Fletcher, we have him beating Mark Briscoe. We have Mercedes Moné beating Julia Hart. We have Will Ospreay beating Kevin Knight. We have the Hurt Syndicate defending the tag team titles, beating the Learning Tree. We have Daniel Garcia losing the TNT title to Adam Cole. We have Chris Jericho losing the Ring of Honor title to Bandito. We have the Death Riders retaining the AEW Trios Championship against Rated FTR. We have Kenny Omega retaining the AEW International title against Ricochet and Mike Bailey. And we have Timeless Toni Storm retaining her Women's World title against Megan Bayne. And, of course, Jon Moxley retaining the AEW World Championship against Swerve Strickland. And Johnny has the other way, Swerve new champion. So that's the one we're picking different. Okay? Johnny, your next match, when can people see you?
So I'm going to be wrestling Gangrel next Friday. So I won't be on the show next Friday.
Wow.
It's a good warning for Dave and everyone else that I won't be there. But, yeah, teaming with Gangrel, wrestling against Soa Min and Mr. Marvelous in Sudbury, Project X Wrestling. Get your tickets at projectxtix.com.
Very exciting. Wrestling Gangrel next Saturday?
Teaming with Gangrel.
Teaming with Gangrel. Okay. Well, that is going to be huge. Big match for Johnny. And, I watched the Ludwig Borga Dark Side of the Ring, John. The guy was a strange character. He was only in WWF for like a year at most. Lost to Lex Luger. Couldn't cut promos. Didn't get over. They tried to make him an evil man from Finland. Nobody knew where Finland was. It didn't work. And then he was also a Nazi. He had a lot of Nazi ideologies. He had a Nazi tattoo. And it got over somehow in Finnish politics. He was voted into their parliament. But then there was like a domestic violence incident where he wound up taking a bunch of pills and getting injured. And his wife got shot. A gun went off somehow. Or did he get shot? No. His wife got
shot in the air. Shot in the air, I think.
Shot in the air. But he was like... He had taken a bunch of pills. And he was
like choking on his own vomit.
Right. And he had brain damage after that and was never quite the same and eventually took his own life. Yeah. It was a weird story. He seemed like kind of a bad guy. But, sad story. Definitely a dark side of the ring. It was interesting. I didn't know much about the life of Ludwig Borga. Nor did I ever really think about Ludwig Borga because he was in the WWE for like a cup of coffee when I was a kid. So, I don't know. It was an interesting story, though. Good for him. Rest in peace, I guess.
I actually thought you would know more about it because he actually fought in the UFC. So I thought maybe you knew about that.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. But it was like one fight way, way back in Randy Couture's debut in the UFC. So you know how long ago that was. Like, it was like, oh, yeah, I remember. He did that. Like, I watching the Dark Side of the Ring, I was like, oh, yeah, he did that. And then, of course, he got smashed by Randy Couture. And I like the guy, the guy, I guess, who wrote the book about Ludwig Borga was like, oh, Ludwig said he would never tap out. He would never quit in a fight. And then it's like, and then Randy Couture, like, takes him down. And within, like, 45 seconds, he's got a rear naked choke on him. And Borga's just, like, tapping, giving up, of course. Didn't get choked out. Tapped. So, yeah. Poor guy. He had some problems. He had some real issues. Drug and alcohol problems. Probably some mental health things going on. Not a solidly. So, yeah, Ludwig Borga, Dark Side of the Ring. Truly dark.
Another thing, too, like, I had heard about the whole, like, Nazi tattoo on the leg.
Yes.
I heard about that. Like, that's been told in wrestling lore for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the butt tattoo.
Yes.
I didn't know about that one.
He had a tattoo above his butt that said exit only.
Yeah. And he got voted in Parliament. And, like, wow. I guess a lot of people didn't know about that.
Didn't he spend time in prison at some point?
believe he possibly did, yeah.
Maybe that's what the tattoo was for. He was so scared about all those stories you hear about prison, and he was like, let me make sure everybody knows exit only for my butt. Only poop goes out here. It's weird. He's a weird guy. He has weird tattoo choices, obviously. I don't know what's weirder, the exit only on the butt or the Nazi tattoo. I think they're both weird. I think the Nazi tattoo is probably weirder. But they're both pretty horrible, and he's, just a weird guy, man. Exit only on my butt. Like, do you have to say that? Are people constantly trying to put things in your butt? Like, what's happening, man? What is your life? I mean, honestly, I felt kind of sad. Like, they're making fun of him and everything, and it's kind of funny. Like, haha, he's got an exit only, like, thing on his butt. But it's like, what must have happened to him to make him that fearful? Like, clearly the guy has had, like, issues. I think he had, like, I think they said an abusive childhood, but, like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, they used it as kind of like a funny joke, like, haha, exit only on his butt. Like, what a weird guy. Like, oh, wow, homophobic. What a terrible man. It's like, yeah, maybe he was. Sure. But to me, like, a human being that's going to do that, it's probably some trauma there. Yeah. And it said, like, his childhood was not good. So I think, I don't know. Like, some of these Dark Side of the Rings are a bit exploitative. It's like, let's find a guy who wrestled for, like, a bit in WWE who had a really shitty life story and make a show out of him because we're running out of ideas.
Well, it is what the Dark Side of the Ring. I mean, that clearly sold what it was. And
yeah, like, but it's like they've done like 10 seasons now, and they're just like exploiting weird stories and like trauma and just bad shit that they're shining light on. It's kind of unnecessary. Like, we didn't need the Ludwig Borga story. Like, the Owen Hart Dark Side of the Ring, okay, I get it. It was a bit, like, but like, no one needs to know. It's not big wrestling history. No one's asking about Ludwig Borga. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a guy that anyone thinks about. The only reason we're talking about him is because he had a weird life story. If the guy wrestled for a year in WWE and then went on to be like a used car salesman or a substitute teacher, no one would ever think about him or talk about him. Yet he was a horrible man, did horrible things, and died sadly. And because of all that,
Well, also, like, at the time, though, I think 93, 94, like, he came out of nowhere and, like, right away was, like, in the main event angle. Like, Lex Luger at his peak in WWF. And just out of nowhere, he's there, and then out of nowhere, he's gone.
Yeah.
So I think it was just nice for fans of that era just to be like, yeah, what happened? And now we know.
Yeah, I guess so. Now we know. He beat Tatanka, and it was like, oh, I thought he was going to do something. Then he lost to Lex, and it was like, that's it. That's all for Ludwig. But that happened to guys so much.
Just go back to normal life, but is that were quite sad in the end. It was also, the ending was kind of weird too, like how they talked to his ex-wife and like she was trying to put like a positive spin on it.
Yeah. Well, because she doesn't want to be looked at as the woman who knew he was like an evil Nazi man and was like happily married to him. She wants to be like, look, I know he seems like a monster, but there was a good guy there and he was nice and he was not so bad. And, I'm not a Nazi. It
was a weird try to make a positive spin on, like,
well,
yeah, I don't know.
I think also they're making money off this guy and his sad story. I think they wanted to put a little positive on it because they felt bad. Bury this guy, and it's like, well, okay. I mean, he's a shitty guy, but he also had a hard life. Like, you gotta have empathy for people sometimes, man. I don't know. I feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him at the same time,
Well, the American Gladiator friend that he was with, like, kind of felt bad for him. Or
yeah, for sure.
So there was like a little bit of that, but it's just he had more negative comments than positive, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Especially on the dark side.
He injured his ankle in a match with Rick Steiner and then eventually was released. You think Steiner did it on purpose?
I don't even remember that happening. I'd
like to see the match.
I remember the thing with Luger and all that, and like, I think they may have briefly mentioned that he got injured or something, but
Yeah.
I do remember, his promos were not very good whatsoever. But he did look impressive, though. He was super tall.
Yeah, he was big and impressive looking, but, a lot of those guys come and go, and they disappear. All right, Johnny, we'll be back next week. Or we'll be 1 week away from WrestleMania. Yeah, I'll be back next week. Johnny will not, but you'll be back for the WrestleMania preview show the following week, right?
Should be.
Probably.
We'll wait and see. I'll keep you updated.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. I'll be here for more Wrestling Uncensored next week, and I'll be back with AJ and Freddie on Thursday night for Ringside Report MMA when we'll be previewing UFC 314, UFC pay-per-view going down next Saturday, the 12th of April. Until then, we will see you again real soon. Yankees win tonight. Go Yankees. And Johnny's Red Sox won as well. So we're
and
both
the Habs
winners.
are still in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
So suck it, the people on Twitch that don't like it. Too bad.
There you go. Sorry about that. We love you all. Okay? See you later.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next